Just going to undo that. We're going to push this clip in and pull the harness out. That's it, straightforward. This one, airbag one, like the other side, it has that black collar. We're going to pull that collar up towards me, and the plug should slide right out. There it goes. There's the collar. Okay, this one has the white collar right here in the front. We're going to slide that collar up. There it goes. And I'll show you the slide mechanism again. There it is. Let's see if you can see it better here. Okay. And it looks like one more. This little gray guy right here. We're going to push that pin in, slide it out. There. And what do we have left? We have the clip. So I'm just going to use my tool here, and I'm going to jam it where the clip locks into the tab, squeeze it in to release, and I should be able to release that zip tie clip, so I don't have to pull the whole clip out. There we go. That's it. And there's a harness. Nothing broke, thank goodness. And that's it. I have the seat propped up again with my pole. And right now I should be able just to pull this guy back, and there it goes. It's totally free, as you can see. All right, so I'm gonna grab some help real quick and yank this seat out. So the rain is coming. Time for me to stop. But I managed to get the seat out. Here we go. She's a weird looking element now. No seats. Tomorrow, we will remove the center console. And there's my treasure. In addition to about 35 cents so far. Okay, see you tomorrow, guys. Hey guys, I'm back. So after reviewing some of my footage yesterday, I realized I'm missing a couple of sections. And so what happened was, when I thought I was recording, I actually was not recording. And so basically it's the step where I remove the trim piece from the back side of both both passenger side and driver side seats. And so what I'm going to do here, I just clipped it right back in, and I'm going to show you how I popped it off. Very simple step, nothing to it. So all I had was my trim removal piece, and I stuck it way in the back here, and I popped the trim up. This is exactly what I did on the other side, but I just wanted to put this on here because I didn't want you guys to miss this. That's it, pop right off. So basically what holds it is a little pushing clip there, a little pushing clip there, and where is it? A little clip right there. And that's it. They just pop right off. So the driver's side is exactly the same way. Again, I apologize. I thought I was recording and I wasn't. But we'll move forward with removing the center console now. Okay, first things first, clean out your center console. I just emptied out my console here and cleaned out all my junk from over here. Now, the manual calls this section here, this trim piece section here, the front trim, and this part here, the back trim. So they want us to start with removing the cup holders out. Okay, then they want us to lift from back here to release some clips that are holding the back of the front trim. And then there is a couple of clips in here that we'll need to pull back on to release. So let's try that. All right, I'm going to try and get a close look in here. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but there is a notch right here where you can stick a pry tool. See if you can get up close in there. Yeah, right here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a pry tool. Got a couple of these guys. One of these is going to work. So Let's just put that one right there. I'm going to grab this tool. I'm going to just slide it. There's a notch right here. And stick it in and pry it. Pry it to the left and to the right. Oh, there it goes. Okay. We'll take this guy. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay, there it is. Alright, so it popped right up and yeah, we pull right out. So what do we got here? We got a clip there, clip right here, one there, one on that side, and two in the front. Alright, so nothing broke. Good deal. So what do we have here? We have two 10mm bolts. Alright, but now what they want us to do is remove this back trim. That's what we're going to do next. Okay, so what they want us to do next is there's a 10mm bolt right down here. You guys can see that. Okay, so now they want us to remove that 10mm bolt and basically just grab on this right side here and yank it up, and that should release the clips. So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and put this phone down and remove that 10mm bolt. Okay, so the bolt is out and here we go. Just going to grab this side here and yank it. See what happens. Okay, that's a good sign. I'm going to grab this side here. All right, pop that up and I'm just going to keep pulling up. That's it. Just pulled up all the way around and it's out. What do we have here? So we have some plastic clips here on the side, some clips there on the back, this side as well. Nothing broke. Moving right along. We're just going to set this back here. Next, we're going to remove that 8mm bolt. Not sure if you guys can see that, but that is the connector harness for the power socket connector that is inside the center console. And we're also going to remove these 8mm bolts that we exposed earlier. I thought they were 10s, but they're actually 8s. So I'm going to put this camera down and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I have these 8mm out and you can see the connector down there is unplugged. Next, we're going to reach inside our center console, pull out the rubber mat, okay, that's going to expose what looks like 4 10mm bolts. And I'm going to put this phone down, let me undo those bolts and I'll get back to you. Okay guys, so I removed those 4 10mm bolts from the inside of the center console. Basically now what they want us to do is grab the back of the console, lift it straight up and pull back. I still see some Phillips head screws here, which they're not saying that you need to remove, but all I've done so far is remove three bolts from this front area here, 4 bolts from the compartment, and those 2 trim pieces. So apparently there's a couple clips that are jammed inside here where when we pull back the console they're going to release those clips, and I suppose back down in here as well. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to mount this camera somewhere so you can see me trying to struggle with this thing. Alright, I'll get right back to you. Alright guys, so they want us to lift up and pull back. So let's see. Something released. think that's it. It's out. Popped out this bottom left side panel. I'm going to pop out the left one, the right side, I'm sorry. Actually, that one's not going to go. So, let's see what happens here. Something's holding it. Not sure what is. Okay, so the metal bracket that we removed the 8mm bolt from is attached to this Phillips head screw right here. So I'm going to remove that screw because it looks like that bracket's holding on to something else. Alright guys, I didn't have to remove that Phillips head screw. However, I did find one more 10mm bolt way down in the bottom that was holding that one bracket. So I undid that 10mm bolt and it looks like it'll come right out now. Let's try this again. Okay. There it goes. Up and out. So the next thing to do now is we're going to remove this bottom tray right here, and that should give us access to our subwoofer panel. So let me get this stuff out of the way and I'll get right back to you. Alright, this bottom tray should be fairly easy. Looks like two clips, one right under here, one under here, and there are two more back here. So we're going to just lift this panel up right here. Okay, that's one side. Alright, this clip's being stubborn. Just going to try and jam something. Push that clip and there it goes. Okay, and clear this cable here. That's it. Two clips up in the front. Nothing broke. Good. Throw that in the back. And that's it. Alright, this guy here looks like we just take this push pin out and just pushed it in. Throw that in the back. I'm going to do the same to the other side. Hang tight. Okay, we're around the driver's side now. This one had a different type of clip. I had put that in there in the past because I was missing the clip. And I just broke that, but I have replacement clips. So, this should remove the subwoofer skirt. And we'll just throw that in the back with the rest of the stuff. And there's our box. So it looks like a 10mm down there. And well, let's start there. We'll pop that 10mm out, see what happens next. Okay, so I popped that 10mm down there out, and that one right in there. Let's go do the passenger side. Okay, same here. 110 here, and the other one's right up here. I'm gonna pop those out. Okay, I got rid of the 4 10mm bolts, and now this guy should walk right out. Should be keyword. Okay, there we go. Okay, we've got the... Sorry for the camera shake, guys. I'm trying to do this with you guys and hold this camera at the same time. Alright, so I'm going to release this plug. There it goes. And the subwoofer enclosure is free. Okay, I'm taking this baby to the bench. Alright guys, we're on the bench. So, you know, the sub's not bad looking at all. I mean, it's still intact. The rubber surround is pretty tight. I mean, it's a tight sub. You know, this sub probably wouldn't be bad at all if it had the right amount of power going to it. But yeah, it feels nice. It feels tight. You know, I'm not even gonna throw that out. I'm gonna hold on to that sub. But this is the baby that's going in. I showed you guys before. Gosh, look how sweet that looks. So hopefully this guy will drop right in. May have to drill some new screw holes, but well, that's okay. So I'm gonna take the old one out and see what's behind there. Alright guys, alright, so I got both subs. I got the sub out. You can see it is a dual voice coil. And here's a side-by-side comparison to the one I'm installing, and you can see how depth-wise it's pretty much the same. Like I said, it doesn't look like a bad sub at all, and we all know it sounds pretty decent, just that it needs more power to move that thing. So if you guys just want to install an amp and try to move that sub, I'm sure you'll get some really good sound quality out of it. But I've gone as far as just to replace it, since I'm going with an aftermarket amp anyway. See here, this guy here has a foam seal around it, so it'll seal around the box. We're going to remove these because I don't need these anymore. So that's going to be the access hole for the new speaker wire. And this has a little line up plastic divot sticking up so that it lines up the old sub right there. Lines up the old sub. I'm gonna have to cut that off so the new sub sits flush. So I'm gonna do that and line up my sub and start drilling holes. So I have the sub wired in parallel, as you can see. Basically jumped it from one to the other, and then this is gonna go right into the amp. Well, a connection right into the amp. So we should be reading 1 ohm at the meter. Okay, so now if we look at the meter, so there you go, 1 ohm, give or take. The Alpine amp is 1 ohm stable, so we're going to get the most out of our amp. I'm going to put this guy back inside the enclosure. I pre-drilled all the holes here. I'm going to use the old screws that came with the old sub, and of course I have to add maybe 3 more, but you'll see when I'm done. It looks pretty good when I fit it in. Here's our sub install, guys. Take a look. Super clean fit, no gaps anywhere around, nice and tight. I did use the blank covers to cover up the screw holes. Might as well. What else was I going to do with them? So here's what I did around the back. Where the wire came out, I just kind of hot glued the area there. And I added some connectors here just so that I can disconnect the sub if I ever need to. I highly doubt I'll ever disconnect the sub unless Alpine ever decides to come out with a 6 3/4 sub, which I doubt. But just for ease of install as well. So there it is. Now I'm going to go to the head unit, pop that apart, and run my RCA cables and the amp cable from the battery, and we'll be ready to throw this bad boy on.